Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you know what that sound means. Time in the paddock F1. Greeny and the cheese. Round 17 of the 2025 F1 season sees us come to the Eurasia border on the banks of the Caspian Sea. Eurasia, baby. On the banks of the Caspian Sea. We're back in Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku is the largest city on the Caspian Sea. And while you're there, you gotta hit up some of those many nightclubs. Shake that moneymaker. Cue up the sandstorm, please. Let's get out there and shake it. Hit up some of that tea houses. I'll take some of that strong tea. And of course, no trip to Baku is complete without a trip to the Rug Museum. Let's go on a magic carpet ride. Yes. This ain't no travel show. This is an F1 show. And we're racing the Baku street circuit. 3.73 miles, 20 corners, through the old town, and past those modern skyscrapers. You give it the full beans. 65% of your lap, and Baku never disappoints. Quality was insane. 6 total crashes. Max had pole, and he was off and away to start. Then, the championship leader crashed on lap 1 after he jumped the start and had a disastrous start, dropping to dead last. Oh man, what a mess. Max then, of course, just dominated from there for back-to-back wins, all through his 6th Grand Slam of his career. That's right, that's win, pole, and fastest lap, boys and girls. This will take second. Carlos Sainz rounds out the podium. Lots to unpack after this one. We are caffeinated. We are medicated. Let's effing go. Greeny, good day, sir.
We are unpacking. That's for damn sure. Thank you all. Thanks to everyone who's been tuning in and jumping on that donation button, jumping on, becoming a member of the show, and helping us out there. It's on every single way you get your podcast, or when you listen to the podcast as you're doing right now, whether it's Apple or Spotify, whatever it's on. Check it out there, and no need to make that donation and hit that button, but if you'd like, and you like what you hear, and you want to continue hearing what we're hearing and what we're dishing out each week here, hit that button. Some awesome feedback over the last couple weeks here, so we appreciate everyone tuning in, all the new listeners tuning in, and what a race we had in Baku. A little sprinkle of rain for the first time. A marathon qualifying, which felt like it would just go on forever. More red flags than my high school girlfriend. I don't even know where to begin. I say you would have to begin with Max Verstappen, who just was gone. They barely talked. It was like totally 2023 again. We didn't even have to talk about Max Verstappen. No. He was just gone. Yeah. Broadcasters weren't even mentioning his name during the whole broadcast. We heard Liam Lawson's name probably mentioned 3 times more than Max Verstappen's name because he finished so far out in front. He was a pit stop plus in front. And wins back-to-back races, I don't know, for the first time and definitely this season. And I think he started the year last year. I think first time
sometime last year, probably mid-year, something like that, probably. Something like that.
Early season, but Max maybe making a comeback. Maybe the major change at the top of Red Bull. Maybe everything again at the top, because we had 4 Red Bulls in the points. How about them apples? You had Isaac Hadjar, who didn't even look like he was going to get onto the grid. Some early pre-race problems there, and he gets up on the grid. He finishes 10th. Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, and Max Verstappen, the core 4 of Red Bull, having their first time ever getting the 4 of them in the points. Cheese, how you feeling about today's race in Baku?
Well, the race was not as exciting as qualifying was, that's for sure. A little surprised by that. I think a lot of that has to come down to there was like negative deg with the hard tires, from what I've heard, for what a couple drivers said post-race. which that basically means is that there's no wear on the tires at all, and you just keep getting faster and faster because the fuel load drops and the tires ain't wearing, and you just keep going faster. That actually probably made without basically changed. There was no. That's why there probably wasn't much passing as you probably would have expected, as you usually see at Baku. Um, Max just absolutely dominant. Just old Max was 67th win. As I said, during the opening, his sixth Grand Slam of his career. So, I mean, the Red Bull is quick in those low downforce tracks. They found something with that. So you probably see them probably doing well back in by Vegas will definitely be a track that they'll probably be pretty solid at again. An absolute disastrous weekend for Oscar. I mean, an absolute mess. Crashes in quali, jumps the start, crashes on lap one. He's probably going to get a 3-place grid penalty at the next race in Singapore because he couldn't serve his penalty that he got for jumping the start. And you know how hard it is to pass in Singapore anyway, so you're going to get a 3-place grid penalty for that probably. So that's extra sting on that one. So this is going to carry over. I mean, the only thing he could say saving grace wise is that Lando really didn't capitalize that much, only finishing seventh. So he really didn't pick up as much points as he probably had the chance to.
No, that's a disaster. Right there, that's your disaster of the week. And I may actually change my slap, so just hold on to your shorts there. Because that was a freaking... what a wasted opportunity from Lando Norris. Forget about, winning the race. I get it. Max had his day. Max had his weekend. But not even coming close to a podium. And then having the 4+ second pit stop on top of that. I know it's not Lando's fault, but McLaren had a shit day.
We'll just keep going there, especially with the podium. I mean, how does George Russell still not have an announced contract yet? Seriously. Second place, drove his ass off to get there. I think his average for the season is a top 5 at minimum. So how is this guy not under contract with Mercedes yet? Because come on, let's go. I mean, especially under cool conditions, as we know, the Mercedes does very well under the cool conditions too. But you got to give it up to George Russell. Another podium, top 5. I mean, like I said, he's averaging a top 5 for the season. So how's this guy not signed? Let's be serious. Total Wolf, get that man signed. What are you doing?
Yeah, in my opinion, and once again, George Russell just having a phenomenal season, outpacing his vehicle. I'd say between him and Max Verstappen, just because of how well crafted these McLarens are. And they're clearly better. The vehicle, the mechanics, the feedback is definitely... The design is just better for McLaren this year than any other vehicle. I think we can all agree to that. Outside of that, this season's been all about, for me, outside of McLaren, it's been George Russell and Max Verstappen. And they are the stories of the year for sure. And it would be the two of them competing if it wasn't for just McLaren's above and beyond this season as far as their design. But I think the two best drivers in the sport, if everyone was driving the same vehicle, if everyone was driving Lego cars around the same Lego car with the same engines and the same design, I think it would be Max and George Russell are your two best drivers this year. But Oscar Piastri, what is it, 35 straight races in the points, 44 straight races without a DNF, actually finishing the race. Yeah. That's a crazy streak to come to an end, when you look at it that way, where Oscar just feels like he just came on the scene yesterday, and he had 35 straight races in the points until today. I think that was the 34, 35, something like that. Damn.
Well, is the pressure starting to, get to Oscar a little bit?
That was a straight up, like, Oscar Piastri. That was like, have you ever seen these videos, like, on TikTok or YouTube where people are having, like, a foot race? And it's like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. And, like, one dude, like, takes off running, and the other one just, like, runs right into a lamppost. That was Oscar Piastri today. It was like, clang.
Well, I think it was also a bit of, I think it was like Juan Pablo Montoya on the post race. He went into absolute panic mode. Like, he jumped to start and he stopped. And as soon as he jumped to start and stopped, the lights went out. So then everybody else is blowing by you. Your car's in auto stall. So then you got to, hit the clutch and get the car back going again. And then you're last. And then you're like, oh, crap. Lando's way the hell up there. He's going to gain points on me. I got to start hoofing now and start passing everybody. And he got himself into absolute panic mode. And he crashed the car. He got himself out in the dusty part of the track and crashed the car. I mean, does it happen? Sure. But, maybe not feeling a little amount of pressure, especially leading the world championship with only, less than, like 8 races to go or something like that. The pressure could start to sneak in a little bit. I mean, there has been little mistakes he's made here and there recently. So the pressure could be starting, that's a lot of pressure. He's
You're
not
talking about having your name etched in history with Oscar Piastri. You're talking about your name etched in history, and that's another reason why Lando Norris. We're gonna get to a lot more McLaren later. I promise you. Stick with us. But before we get to that, it is time, sir. It is time. Once again, I've made it to the threshold now. Almost every time this season. Talking about scoring points, I've scored a lot this season. It is Quizmaster's Cockpit. We do have 3 questions. I got my helmet strapped on and we're going around the track. Are you ready, sir, to dish out some pain?
I am indeed.
Not a rich history in Baku, but enough history.
Not a lot.
And I'm
enough.
sure you're going to pull out some other questions. I don't know. I don't know.
Everything is tied to Baku, so let's see if you know your history. Question number 1, sir.
Mm-hmm.
2 drivers have 2 wins each at Baku. We're tied for the most wins. Who are the 2?
Well, it's definitely Max. He's won his second today.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's his former teammate, Sergio Perez.
That is correct, sir.
Haven't had a Sergio question in a long ass time.
Yeah. Well, he'll be back on the grid next year, so.
He is back. Do you think him and Sam Champion have been, like, hanging out ever since that interview?
No. Definitely not. Sam Champion had
no
no
idea
idea who he was before.
Close now?
No, I don't think so. No. Question number 2. Moving on. When was the first Grand Prix held in Baku?
It was either 16 or 17. 17?
That is incorrect, sir. It was 16. And it was known as the European Grand Prix that year before it was changed to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2017.
I believe the first official Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
I didn't say Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Said one of the first Grand Prix held in Baku.
Technically, the first Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Formula One was 2017.
Was 2017, but the first Grand Prix held in Baku was the year earlier when it was called the European Grand Prix.
This guy's got to throw in trick questions now because I'm mastering your tests. All right. All right. No music this time, but I still get the third question. Right. No music. I might have to play this under protest, but go ahead.
Who won the first Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2017?
I believe it was a friend of a friend, which would be Danny Ricciardo. I believe.
That is correct.
Danny Rick brought it home that year.
But you didn't get the second question. And you have to get all 3 to win. So you're a loser.
I believe I got all 3. But it's fine.
No, you did not.
It's fine. It's fine.
Listen to the question. I didn't say
That's
Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I said Baku. can protest all you want. It's incorrect.
That's fine. Listen, if you agree with me, drop in the comments, okay, that this guy's a fool. Continue on. So which means, of course, we go to losers, okay? Because I'm a loser, so we go to losers. So go ahead. Who you got, sir? Who are your losers of the week?
Oh, man. I'm going to give it to Lance Stroll, 17th. Just bad. Just another bad. He actually qualified halfway decent, so. But just another crap weekend for Lance Stroll going backwards. Ferrari's definitely a loser this week. Showed pace all through practice, and then it's the Saturday absolute, I don't know, shit show and a dumpster fire is what I'll call it. Lewis can't even get out of Q2. I don't know what the F happened there. That's an absolute shit show. Then Leclerc yet again, was it the third time he's crashed in quali at Baku? And then just no pace in the race. Just ugh. Had the chances to do so much better. Build, keeping the momentum, but no, shit show. Those would be my losers.
I got to go to the other side of the garage with Aston Martin as well. And Fernando Alonso, he was looking like he could have been on the back end of the points this week and finishing 15th. Mm-hmm. Man, he had it going for a while there. He was scoring points, and he really just put himself in another just back of the pack again, finishing 15th. Definitely some worse drivers than him. And I know we were going to slap these fools, but I'm going to go with an audible there. And I got to give it not just to Alpine, specifically to Pierre Gasly. I know I ended up finishing ahead of Colapinto in the final standings here. But
Colapinto got wrecked too, so.
Yeah, but Colapinto was terrible, but Pierre Gasly as well. He barely got ahead of Colapinto. He should have finished dead last. It ended up being Colapinto finishing dead last. But man, something's wrong there. Something's going on with that team because there was a moment that they were looking good. There was a moment they were looked like they were going to have a good second half of the season, and that's just not happening. Not happening for Al. Disaster. All right. So, of course, leads us into winners.
Well, we didn't mention him at the beginning. I think you have to, except, my opening there. Carlos Sainz put on the podium for the first time for Williams. I mean, where's this been all season? It's huge for Carlos, builds him some momentum. It's big for the team, getting on the podium as well. Kind of solidifying that fifth in the constructors right now. I think they got like a 20-something point lead over whoever's in sixth now. So... But that's huge. That's a huge race for Carlos. He was massively pumped. Team was pumped. It's big for Williams. But Liam Lawson, top 5, qualified third. Didn't have the pace to stay there, but 5th place, solid damn finish. Finishing in front of Yuki too, so stick that in your face. I'm sure he's saying too. Again.
So, this is not like the first time he's finishing in front of Yuki in the lesser car.
No. Yeah.
Look what I did to you again. Liam Lawson, I believe he came into this race with 10 points, and he scored 10 points today, I believe, to double his point total. Not something you see from a driver in September, doubling their point total in one race. So, heck of a day. And give it up for James Vowles, too. I'll put him in the winner's circle, man, too.
Yep. All right. Those will be my 2.
All right. Snuck in the other for Williams and just Red Bull. Listen, 2 guys we've spent a lot of time dumping on, one all season long and one definitely the last couple months here. First of all, Kimi Antonelli turned it around this weekend and put together, I think Mercedes is turning around. Toto Wolff has been much more back on the circuit, interviewing. He's got a lot more confidence and a lot less issue, I think, of concern of the team as he had, because really when your team really stinks, you don't want to be doing the interview circuit as much. And I think he had more confidence because he booked a lot of interviews, and Kimi Antonelli and whatever was going on, he got it right. Like I said before, George Russell's having a phenomenal year, but got to give it up to Kimi. And Yuki Tsunoda, best finish of the year for him. 6. I know 6 is not, glorious. I know early on in the season when I mentioned when Yuki came over to Red Bull, I mentioned that 6th should have been his goal all season. Should be 5th or 6th for the rest of the season. And I got crushed online. I got brutalized online, laughing at me, thinking if Yuki was going to finish 6th, he would not finish 6th at all this season, maybe once. Well, he got us at least once, finishing top 6. But Yuki should have been finishing or flirting with the top 6 every single week. Definitely Ferrari helped him out a lot this week. Oscar Piastri helped him out a lot this week, for sure, because that 6 could have been a 9th if Ferrari showed up and Oscar showed up this weekend. But it wasn't. He gets his 6th place.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta give it up to a couple guys who we
gotta give it to him.
Have crapped on
gotta give it
definitely
to him.
Recently.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our winners, which of course, sir, leaves us for the slap of the week. I know we changed it up about 6 times before the show. We were all over the place. I was all over the place with my slap, but I'm settling in. I think your intro struck a chord with me. And I'm going to give my slap this week to Lando Norris. Because you freaking blew it. You had every opportunity to take such a huge advantage over Oscar Piastri. And Piastri it wasn't like he was running front row either. Lando Norris had every opportunity to win this race. He was the favorite to win this race. He had every opportunity. Forget about winning again. Just podium and putting himself in a position where that 31 points, which is now, I don't even know what it is now, but not as much as it should have been. And a win for Lando Norris with 25 points would have put him 6 points behind. 18 points, would have put him 13 points behind Oscar Piastri. That would have been a huge difference. He did close the gap, but he left a lot on the table. Lando's definitely slapping himself. I don't have to tell him to slap himself. Slap your damn self, because you had every opportunity to pull this into a, low double-digit, single-digit lead for Oscar, and you freaking blew it. And there could be some serious repercussions for you not taking advantage of finishing this worst finishing position of the season, I believe, for Lando Norris. So I'm leaving it at that.
That's fair. It's absolutely fair. It's a big opportunity. Got to capitalize.
I know we're talking about slapping Oscar, which is so obvious for just driving right into the wall.
Yeah.
Again, the sound of the opening gun, and you just run right into the first freaking pole. Basically, what a disaster that was. Talking about Alpine, what a disaster they've been. They deserve a slap, but that's but Lando, man.
Obvious? This is pretty obvious.
Lando, slap yourself again.
Yes. It's the best damn sound of the week. Time to take that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Greatopia. When the beer flows like wine, the wine flows like beer, and that cannabis, oh yes, grows as far as the eyes can see. It's like eye of a corn. Look at it. Look at it out there. Just goes green and luscious. Take a little whiff. Oh yeah. Whew. That air smells fantastic. Take a little walk to the top of the hill with the seat at the top. Just like Monaco, baby. Tickets in hand. Are we cashing in or are we checking out? That is the best goddamn intro for a segment ever. Gotta say it. Stop patting myself in the back.
Give it up, man. Give it up. Yeah. Well, it would have been better probably if you held on to anything this week. Listen, George Russell plus 1,600 for the win. That's a big freaking number. You went with that.
Worth the roll.
It was definitely worth the roll. We both had Lando Norris plus 550, which is also another big number for the win for there. That obviously didn't work out.
No.
You had Max, Russell, Norris. trifecta box. I had Verstappen, Norris, Piastri. Obviously, that was over really, really quickly. So you blew all that. Ferrari fastest lap. Neither of those Ferraris made the. You had Lewis. You had Lewis late. But then once Max was changing those tires late, you knew he was getting that. But you had it like in like the late in the 40s.
Well,
I thought Lewis was gonna come through with that one, but he did not. So you dropped 200 greeny bucks. So that takes you, bear with me one moment, to 3,517 greeny bucks. I did a little better, even though I had Lando Norris for the fastest lap. That didn't happen either. It was Max Verstappen. At what point are we going to look at Max Verstappen? Plus 400 for the win, and neither of us going for him. Blew that one, man. Really blew that one. But I did have Liam Lawson top 6. He did finish 5th. So I was plus 225 on that one. So I made my cash back plus a little bit more.
Max was negative to win.
Max was negative to win?
It's negative 225.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why nobody took him. Otherwise, was definitely taking that.
Oh, Max was the only one negative. Yeah.
Max was, yeah. If Max was going to be positive for a win, I was taking that today. Max on pole, hell goddamn yeah, I would have bet on that.
No, I was wrong. Race winner was Max. Yeah, it was Max, negative 225.
My stupid bet I took off the board, that I took off before I sent him in, was going to be Russell on the podium. I took that one off. My dumb ass.
Yeah, it was those plus 135.
Well, that's what happens when you're placing the bets at 6:30 in the morning when you're waking up after nights on the town, drinking to 2:00 in the morning out here. So it's rough waking up at 6 this morning to get those bets in.
Well, if you took Carlos, I do apologize for that drop in the betting line. You want to try to get as close to the race. I think 6:15 this morning. I was up at 5 a.m. as my wife was flying back from the Middle East, so that's always, that was a sleepless night for sure for me. Yeah, listen, if you took Carlos Sainz to finish on podium, plus 900 for Carlos Sainz, took him for podium. That was probably your biggest win.
That was a big one
of the week. For those who were dropping bets. So, and what the heck was the trifecta? I don't even know what the trifecta would have paid off. That would have been retirement money today.
Probably.
Retirement cash today with that. I think it was like plus 8,000 or something like that for that trifecta if you hit that one, which neither of us did. And listen, you hit one of those at plus 8,000 and you're going to be, that'll be it. But let me I'm doing the math here. 36. I apologize. 87. You took a big loss, man, and that was a big win for me with Liam Lawson. I am now back up. You were up 130. We flipped the script, and now I am up 150 greeny bucks. How about that? A big swing as you drop
to the end.
As you drop, so we are still within that 100, 150. You were up 130 last week. We flipped it this week. I'm up 150 now. So you can see how it changed week to week here in the Greeny Bucks Challenge. And only, 7 races to go? Is that what we have left here? So it'll be a gambling battle to the end. Plus, we did place 500 Greeny Bucks worth of bets pre-season. We will be reviewing those towards the end of the season. Listen, if you were up by like 1,000 greeny bucks, those wouldn't have mattered. But if we're in a tight race, those preseason bets definitely going to make a difference. So we're going to revisit those at some point. All right, cheese. It brings us now to, of course, as we bring up the big finish here. In the news. We got a little in the news segment here. A bunch of news stories. What do you got first, Cheese?
Bunch of news. We'll start off with the first story. 2026 sprint schedule for tracks has been released. Sprint races will be held at Silverstone, Shanghai, Miami, Montreal, Zandvoort, and Singapore. Those will be your 6 for 26.
Congratulations. I'm surprised they're not at 10 yet. I'm surprised we're not at double dig because what's the point anymore? Just do it. Just freaking do it already. Just go ahead.
Well,
all sprint races.
Well, if you don't mind, then I'll just carry in our next news story as well.
Go.
They are going to be bringing to the teams to see what they have to say, going from 6 to 12 sprint races.
Just do it.
Reverse grid sprint races as well.
That's stupid.
Possibly for 27.
That makes no sense. Okay, so hold on. First of all, let's address topic A, 12 sprint races. Stop being a bunch of you-know-whats. Just make the whole freaking schedule of sprint races. Do, it should be an FP1, and then you get sprint race quali on Friday, sprint race Saturday morning, race quali Saturday afternoon, and then race day on Sunday. And that gives you a nice 5 sessions. The only thing it does eliminate is the ability, or it could enhance the ability for a lesser driver that may jump into an FP1 to be able to do that, because you're really going to want your drivers, if you're going right from one practice session right into a quali session, even though it's a sprint race quali. You can also, on the other hand, throw in a different driver for the first half of the weekend. You can put your, throw someone in there maybe from F2 in, say, a Williams, right? Let's use it for example, where, say, Alex Albon, I'm just using a total example, just Alex Albon races FP1, and then you have a different driver, a reserve driver, potentially, racing the sprint race quali and the sprint race, and then Albon comes back to race the regular race. And you could break that up maybe once a season, bringing someone else in, adding a little flavor, and actually having a real race with a reserve driver or another driver that may get a taste of Formula One action. That's my only feeling how this could benefit Formula One as a whole, outside of just let's grab cash and stuff it in our face, which I think this is what it's all about. What are your thoughts? That's a big matzo ball I dropped on you there. What are your thoughts on that?
First off, where are you getting your medication? Because I need to get me some of that to come up with that madness. Taking an F, some reserve driver. What, you insane? That's never going to happen. They're not going to take their number one or two drivers out of the car for sprint race weekend. That's not happening, because you can't change drivers midway, because drivers like the cars differently. Number one, usually. So that's completely insane. That's complete madness. Of course they want to go to cash grab, because they want to just go from what's more exciting. Do you want to watch practice sessions or sessions that actually mean something? So that's what this is all about. This is about putting a bigger product out there. I mean, Formula One is as popular as it's ever been right now worldwide. So cash in while you can. Fill up the bags. Throw them in the back of the truck as quick as you can. Plain and simple.
And now let's go to reverse. Now let's go to reverse grid. Tell me about how reverse grid makes sense ever in any racing format.
Don't they use it in F2, don't they? I don't know. Adds a little spice. Quicker cars got to then, cut through the field. A little extra excitement. I mean, for a sprint race, I don't think it's going to be that much, because it's not that long of a race, but could add some extra spice. Do I like it? Not really. I think it's kind of lunacy, but they're trying to add spice.
This is what I think you should do. I think you should go with Russian roulette, okay? You have a wheel. And you get the top 6 drivers who qualied. And you get a wheel. And you spin the wheel. And one of those 6 drivers that qualified top 6 has to start in the pit lane on Sunday. Or for a sprint race, you can start there.
Moving on. I need to get you.
Want to get crazy? We can get crazy. I'm still a fan of one backwards lap. Everyone just go backwards.
All right, moving on here. Talking about cash grabs. Cadillac has named their main sponsor. It'll be Jim Beam Bourbon. Throw that bottle on the car, baby. Thoughts?
I wonder if Jim Beam is now going to have maybe do something with Lego. I don't think Hard Liquor and Lego have gotten together yet. So you got a great sponsorship with Formula One.
I don't see that going on a child's toy. Just saying.
But it's okay to put bourbon on the side of a car.
I mean,
it's very NASCAR.
Ferrari used to have Marlboro on the side of their car years ago.
Yeah, but you can smoke a cig while driving. You can legally smoke. You've done it, sir. I've driven across the country with you. I think there was a time where there was like several hour stretch where you did not have a cigarette in your mouth. I think you were lighting the next cigarette with the cigarette before. I think that's called a chain smoker, sir. I know it was a long time ago, and I know you are nicotine free and cigarette free, so I will mention that. I don't want to get on you for that. But there was a time, sir, and that's all good. There was never a time where I saw you chugging bourbon while driving down Route 80. Okay? I'll throw that one out there, because that would be a little more concerning. What else you got?
Oh, you're gonna effing love this one. Bear with me while I read this till I'm complete, all right? According to an investigative report by Hunter Brook Media and journalist Pablo Torre, several high-profile athletes, including Charles Leclerc, Yannick Sinner, and unnamed Man City players, may have unknowingly had their brainwave data accessed by entities linked to the Chinese government. The data was allegedly collected through Focus Calm neurofeedback headbands, which athletes use to improve focus and mental performance. This used to be a Harvard-founded startup that was later moved operations to China and received funding from organizations tied to the Chinese military-industrial complex. And apparently it's possibly being used to train super soldiers. What's your thoughts on this madness?
Anyway, it was a good show. I gotta look into that. I got no thoughts on that. I think China stole my brainwaves years ago, so I have absolutely no thoughts on that one.
I came across that and I said, yes, we have to use that for this program. That is
if you have
insane.
Thoughts at home, if you have thoughts about brainwaves and super soldiers, absolutely hit us up in inthepaddock@gmail.com. A big episode coming up next week. Are we going to do our trivia episode next week? In our week off here? Maybe next Saturday?
Sure.
We should do our first ever full trivia episode. I know we got so much feedback from our Quizmasters cockpit. Why not do a full F1 trivia episode? So if you're into F1 trivia, tell your friends. Tune in next week. And if it goes well, maybe we'll rock another one. Maybe a little $10,000 pyramid, Jeopardy, password. Maybe we'll even invite some of our listeners on to join us. We'll see how it goes next week. So until then, where are we going next, actually, sir?
A few weeks' time, we will be in Singapore. It'll be hot. That's all I can tell you.
It'll be hot on the equator, sir. So it will be hot. And don't be spitting on the sidewalks. That's for damn straight. Say what you got to say, brother.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. And as always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.